What's up, everybody? It's Coach Dave, and I lift.
Coach Cameron and I left.
Welcome to the She Lifts, He Lifts podcast. Before I get started tonight, the first thing I want to do is I want to send our prayers, our thoughts, and positive vibes out to Coach Carol.
Yes.
Who
Lots
is
of prayers.
lots of prayers. Who she's dealing with something that really I hope that none of us ever have to deal with. But we wish her the best. I know she is strong. I know her family is strong. And Carol, if you're listening, we love you, and we can't wait for you to get back. In the meantime, Cameron is gracious enough to join us for this. And as I said last week, we are going to talk about some hard truths. Hard truths. Hard truths, and the reason I call them hard truths is because as trainers, fitness professionals, and those types of things, we tend to try to gloss over, or at the very least, make it as not quite a bitter pill to swallow.
Well, we're here to be motivational.
Right.
You know, we're the rah-rah.
We are.
Woo! You know.
Woo! As we like to say.
So, yeah, no. But there are some hard truths into the fitness world.
There are.
There
are definitely in the health and wellness industry, field, whatever you want to call it. There's some things that you have to understand, especially if you have taken a detour. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you went, me for example, was very athletic, suddenly complete opposite of that. There are some things that I really had to change to get back into, and then cut back on, where someone who may have been athletic and never really been overweight or inactive may not have that same type of thing to fight with. So let's talk about them. First of all, one of the things I hear a lot is, "Oh, I don't want to do anything that's going to hurt
me." Yeah, I'm going to get injured.
Okay.
That's too hard.
So basically what you want to do is wrap yourself in bubble wrap in that case and lay in your bed forever.
Oh, those big balls that you get in and just roll around. We'll just push you around the gym.
Yes. That would be great. That's actually a pretty good exercise. Right? Yes. That would be. I'd totally be down with that. But the idea is everything carries a risk of injury. Should you come on day one having never worked out before and try to deadlift? Probably not. Should you come on day one and sit in a chest press machine or a leg extension or even a leg press? Maybe not. But again, if you progress and do things the right way, your risk of injury comes down a lot.
Well, and there's a lot to think about. And again, I feel like I've been brought on here for the sales tactic. Okay. This is why personal trainers are necessary.
Right.
If you are someone that you're not advancing, you're not trying different things because you're scared, that says, I need help.
Right.
And that's when you get a trainer and you start saying, hey, I'd like to deadlift, but I've been seeing these podcasts and I'm not supposed to do this. I just don't know what to do or how to do it. Could you help me? And that's one of the big things. I swear by personal training, because that's someone that's there, that's coaching, that knows what to do, how maybe to even give you that one little cue of how to drop your shoulder or how to do this, or your tailbone needs to be up, to make that an exercise that is actually safe for anybody to do, that you might not think that it's safe for you to do because you've never done it before.
So again, the
deadlift is a great one.
Deadlift is a great example.
Deadlift is a great example. Most people do them incorrectly.
Incorrect, and not just incorrectly, but and really, it's not, out of all of the compound lifts, it's probably the most simple if you cue it right. If you can cue it right, it is probably it's more so than the squat, more so than the bench press, even more so than the shoulder press or row. But I really find that once you get someone into that position, they're like, oh, this is super easy. Now, the other part, and we'll talk about this later, follow Cameron at modelafitness.com and Model A Fitness on Facebook, because we're going to talk about this later on today, is the ego. So don't let that get in your way and hurt you. But if you keep your ego in check, you even a little bit of coaching and training, you can greatly reduce your risk of injury. Yeah. And again, a good trainer isn't also going to go, let's take away from the lifting part of it and put it into some other exercises, things like box jumps, medicine ball workouts, where you're jumping, a lot of those types of things, plyometrics. If you progress somebody right, you can do that stuff too, I have older folks that can do that stuff.
Yeah.
Couldn't do that stuff when they first came to me. They can now.
But again, it's we know modifications. Hey, let's start here and move through, where the person coming in with the idea and not the know-how, they don't know the progression. They don't know that I can, okay, planks, for instance. You watch people do planks and they'll either put their butt real high in the air. We have modifications that we can say, okay, let's build this strength up and get to this form.
Right.
And same with the deadlift.
Yep.
Immediately people want to go on and load weight. And maybe it's just, hey, let's go through a motion, air motion, just, hit bamboo stick. Let's start with just the form of it.
We actually did one at the other gym for all the trainers got together, and we had a coaching, basically a training. And one of the things they do, they and again, we're talking about trainers, so we're all in shape. We all exercise very regularly. Wouldn't let us start with a barbell. We started with a PVC plate.
Right. So again, that dynamic warm up, getting things lubricated before we go, also is going to help prevent an injury.
Hard truth number 2. Ooh. You're going to have to do things you don't want to do.
Dang it.
Right. Now, that isn't there and there's a line here. There's definitely a line here. And I'm going to say this. I've had clients who say, I don't want to do this because I'm going to be sore. I don't want to do this because I'm tired. I don't want to do this, blah, 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 and give all the excuses. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the person that says I don't want to do this because it hurts my knees.
Right.
I have one client, and there's an exercise I love called a surrender, where you start on your knees and you stand up. I have one client that absolutely hates it to the point that he said I find reasons to skip it. Guess what? I don't program it, at least not often for him. Because that's and honestly, if someone did that to me, when I've talked about this, how much I hate hip thrusts before, if someone did that with a hip thrust where it was every workout I had to do hip thrust, I'd be like, oh.
Well, I hate the burpee. I mean, I hate the burpee. So if you ever I'm not giving out a burpee.
Right. Right.
But I get it. Would it make me better at some things? It would.
It would.
So if I did them more often, would I get better at it? Yeah. But there is that thing sometimes in your head, like your client, he just doesn't want to do it. And you have to make that decision.
Right. And that's, I think, as a coach, a trainer, even as someone who's trying to do it on their own, I think you have to make that decision. And
you try to, as a trainer, sneak it in there and not let him know he's doing it. Well, let's get down.
First, you're going to start on your knees, put your hands up. All right, now just next thing you know, he's doing it.
Now they've got our secret. We trick them into things.
Yeah. And that's the thing is focus, because there's one of these things, Laura and I, when we first started the show, one of our first episodes, we talked about how people would always, what's the best exercise? What's the best exercise?
Yeah.
And we always say the one that you're going to
do. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Again,
which is true.
It is. If you hate working out, you do have to make it fun. You have to make it enjoyable because,
But not every exercise that you do, every workout is not going to be
there are ones where I'm like, darn it, I have to do,
Right.
But I know I have to do it to get my next level.
Right. And I think that's the thing, is what becomes more important, that temporary discomfort, avoiding that temporary discomfort, or getting to that goal that you've set for yourself.
You know what I've started doing with the one exercise that I don't like? If this is the only thing I don't like today, I'm winning.
That's a good mindset at the end.
So, trying in that positive mindset. If this is the only thing that I'm going to despise today.
That sort of goes back to the whole theme of the show, is find ways to get the things done that you don't, to accept the hard truth and make it. And a lot of times we do that. And I think sometimes people lean on our words and not the thing. Because the next hard truth I wanted to talk about, and this is going to be for someone who is, again, just starting out, you're going to have to give some stuff up. Okay? We always focus on the things that you're gaining, whether it's the health, whether it's your mobility, whether it's eating more protein. Yes. Okay? But eating more protein is great. And yes, we want you to eat more protein. The thought process behind most of the time is, if I eat more protein, I'm going to be more full, so I'm going to eat less junk. So I'm going to cut the processed sugar, the overconsumption of carbohydrates, those things, not elimination, overconsumption, there's a difference, those down. However, I've seen that go the other way, especially in men and in women sometimes too, where, okay, I'll eat more protein, but I'm still going to eat everything else I'm going to eat anyway.
Yeah. And again, we've talked about this I call them seasons. Like, what season are you in? Are you in a season where you're trying to lose weight? What specific weight are you trying to lose? Are you trying to lose fat? Most likely that's what it is. Are you trying to gain muscle? So in different seasons, you're going to have to give up different things. As you get closer to wanting a specific goal, you want the body to look a specific way. That means giving up some alcohol. That means giving up, things. And again, it can be a temporary thing. Maybe it's for just an occasion. You're going to graduation,
Right.
a 20-year graduation, and you want to look great. So you're going to eliminate all that stuff, and that's hard. And I think sometimes when it comes to the hard, you're like, and then you just toss it to the side rather than doing it to get the job done.
Well, the other time, and this is where I really struggle with sometimes when I'm coaching people, is that when I want to be like focus on what you're gaining, but at the also time I try to make it so, like, look, this is the things that you're giving up, because we do want to promote balance. But a lot of times when people hear that word, and this can get lumped in with here too, we hear that word balance. That means, oh, that's my license to enjoy.
Yeah.
But again, going back to your point, where's your seat? What season are you in?
Right.
In the very beginning, I talked on this show, on this podcast before, many times how I do drink alcohol.
Okay.
I make no bones about it. I don't drink alcohol when I'm in competition prep mode.
Okay. Because
I have a very specific goal, and I have a time frame I have to achieve that in. I also, when I first started, when I was 270 pounds, I didn't drink alcohol. Not only did I drink alcohol, I didn't go to the bar or out to dinner for, I want to say, a good 2 months.
Probably because it's too much of a tease.
It was too much of a tease. And then people say, well, what about balance? The moderation will come. But I didn't get here in the first place because I was very good at moderating.
And to go back to a point of, are you coming in as an overweight person with really bad, 100 bad habits, or are you someone that's closer to your goal with 5 bad habits? And that's going to make things change because, and that's where the hard, like in the beginning, the person coming in with 100 bad habits, we are more motivational in the beginning. We're not talking about the hard truths yet because we have to keep you up in your high. And then you start to see, okay, this is why I'm doing this. This is, and then the hard truths, they're hard, but they're easier to digest because you're wanting something now.
There is something I've said before, and I stand by this statement. And there have been people that have debated me. My point, the thing that I always say, it is easier to lose 100 pounds than it is to lose 20. And I'm going to explain this, because usually when you're in that 100-pound mark where you're losing 100 pounds, you're not in a I want to lose weight, I want to look better. You're in a I need to lose weight because I have health
risks most of the time.
When you're in that 20 pound or less, now I'm not saying it's necessarily about vanity, because that's not but it's more about the mental aspect of it. And again, like you said, are you a person that's severely overweight with 100 bad habits, or are you a person that's got a couple extra pounds with 5 bad habits?
Yeah.
Again, what's your balance?
Yeah.
And again, the person that wants to lose 20 pounds probably already has a decent balance, but he wants to move a little further, so we have to change his balance a little bit.
And he's already restricted.
Right.
Because he's already, 95 bad habits are out of the way.
Right.
And you only got 5, and it's kind of like...
we've all got to have 1 or 2, right?
Yeah. Fisher's popcorn. I'm just
Dude,
like...
So context for that statement, Karaman just came back from the beach, and here in the mid-Atlantic area, down in the beach areas, there is a company called Fisher's that makes the most delicious caramel popcorn. And if you happen to be on the boardwalk in Ocean City, Maryland, Bethany Beach, Delaware, or Fenwick Island,
stirring it in the window.
Oh my God! And you could smell it for blocks.
And then you put it in your car and you smell it all day.
All right, and then not only that, and of course you can't buy the small one serving bucket. No, because you're taking this.
Oh, and they had a 4 tub for
Oh, did they?
Oh yeah.
The season's coming to an end.
The girls downstairs got a tub. There's a tub in the laundry room if you want a little nibble.
I still have a tub that my mom brought me back.
Oh God!
I was like,
you're good.
Give it to the kids.
Yeah.
Right.
It's bad.
That's bad.
It's bad. I've always told myself, eat it on the boardwalk. Don't bring it home. Bring it home for them. Don't bring it home for you. Yeah, no. That didn't work.
Yeah, because you can't. Because when you bring it home for other people.
See, that's my bad habit.
Right. You bring it home for other people,
Oh, yeah.
you're usually around those other people.
Yeah.
All right, next one. We talked about having to give some stuff up. I'm going to say this. There is always something you are going to want to improve.
Yeah.
Okay? And
we hope. Yeah, we hope you always want to be improving.
Well,
yes.
Yes and no. And I'm going to say this. There's a difference between I want to improve and I'm not satisfied.
It's true.
Okay? Am I, in my current state right now, satisfied? If I never lost another pound, never had another or another percentage of body fat or whatever, I'd be okay. I'm comfortable in my skin.
All right.
All right. Are there things that I would like to improve on? Absolutely. Absolutely. I would like to be a little stronger. I would like to be, at times, I would like to be a little leaner. Doesn't mean, and actually right now, because I am focusing on strength and not really bulking, but kind of sort of bulking, I looked in the mirror today and I'm like, God, I miss my competition abs.
Yeah.
Right? But again, it's not going to stop me from taking my shirt off. It's not going to stop me from going out to the pool. It's not going to stop me from doing anything. And it's not that I feel uncomfortable at it. It's just I know what I can do when I really get there.
Right.
But right now, and the whole reason I didn't compete this summer is because I didn't want to, because I didn't want to have to deal with all that over the summer. So again, there's always something to improve on, and I'm sure you feel the same way.
Oh yeah, I mean, again, taking different levels or seasons of and especially like I don't want to be like especially as a woman, but
no,
women's hormones are different. You don't go through perimenopause and all these, so there are different seasons for us where we might have to accept a little more and be more kind to ourselves that we're going through a season that we might not love. But there's a new season around the corner and we can work hard in that season to get what we're looking for. So it is a hard one because again, you don't want to be too hard on yourself, but you want to be goal driven but make sure they're reasonable. Make sure they're about you. And that's the thing that I always say, make sure it's what you want for you, not because you're sitting next to someone else that looks this way or someone else that looks that way and you want to look like the girl across the street. It can't be about that.
Or because someone told you you needed to.
Oh yeah, that one's never.
That's never
easy.
Unless it's
healthy. Unless it's because they're concerned of your health.
Well, I was going to say unless it was your doctor.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, there's people in my family, friends, and everything. You're concerned about their health because, again, as professionals, we just know. We know what the longevity is. We know every extra pound is so much when you go down the steps on your knees. I mean, it's like we just know the wear and tear it puts on the body when you have the extra weight.
Right. And there's a difference between, again, what you said, your goal, you do it for you. There's a difference between someone telling you something out of either professional opinion, i.e. doctors, or someone telling you that out of love because you are so overweight.
Yeah.
One of the things, and it was funny that we brought this up because you bring that up, because one of the things we were talking about recently about how no one said things to people who don't say things to you when you're overweight because they don't want to think of fat shaming. As a guy, especially as a younger guy, me and my buddies, we always we'd make jokes about my weight when I was heavier.
Right.
Okay. Oh, and I would always laugh it off because I knew they were joking. And when as I started to lose weight, I went back and I said to him, I saw a picture of my old self. I said, "Why didn't you sons of bitches tell me I was so fat?" And they're like, "We did repeatedly." We thought you knew. I'm like, I knew, but I didn't know.
Well, but and just to go kind of like maybe help someone else, were you hurting inside, but putting on that smile and making it jovial?
I don't know. I probably. Again, that would take a lot of therapy. I don't think either one of us are qualified for.
I got time.
But yeah, probably.
Like using it as a defense mechanism. Oh, let's just make this funny because I'm fat.
Right.
Right.
And it was, and that's one of those things that you have to, and that's a hard truth, is you have in and of itself is accepting where you are starting from. And again, and even let's go to the other person. Let's go to the person that again that was athletic, and now they're not. they have to accept the fact now that they're not who they used to be.
Right. Well, and that, going back to the injury part,
right?
You know, how many guys come into the gym and tell you the story of what they lifted when they were 20? Okay, but you're 50 now.
Right.
So let's not load the bar real quick and get an injury going.
One of the best for that, and again, as we're going to talk about ego later on, we talked about, you know, a lot of guys come in, men especially do this. I don't know why, but we come in and we do the workout that we used to do that we were in high school or college or whatever that coach used to make us do. One of the greatest comebacks I ever had for that, they're like, oh yeah, I know I do my old football workout. And it's like, oh, cool. Another trainer who was interviewing a client, he said, so what was the goal of that workout? And he's like, well, it was to be stronger and faster. He's like, so basically to be better at football, right? He's like, yeah. Are you trying to play football?
Yeah.
And the guy's like, oh,
yeah,
okay.
Right.
And of course, this particular guy, I want to say he was like a lineman of some guy. So weight loss was not exactly the goal of the workout to begin with.
Right.
So again, you have to sort of navigate those things, and I think that's a hard truth. And then we're going to throw this one in here, as we are going to talk about this for Tipsy Tuesday. Check Cameron out at Model A Fitness on Facebook and Instagram. Is that we have to check our ego at the door.
Yeah.
Is that is a hard truth, and that is a hard truth for guys, especially for people who used to be athletic. I think on top of it, we don't know everything. And I'm going to say this, as a trainer, that was even, I don't want to say super hard, because by the time I got around to becoming a trainer, I was but it was a little hard at the very beginning,
right?
Especially coming from people, again, some of my mentors, Matt Wilson in particular, looking the way he does, knowing he's never been out of shape in his life,
right?
Taking advice on how to coach someone else who was like in my brain going, you don't know what that's like,
right?
But he doesn't, but he does.
But he does, yeah.
So
yeah, it's a challenging. The ego is a hard one, because again, it's you could have been a power lifter at one time and switched over. And it's hard. I deal with it right now with a friend that I work out with. She was a power lifter. She could move weight. And now we're older. She doesn't need to move that kind of weight.
Right.
We're not competing or doing anything. And she keeps saying, I'm not strong. I'm not strong. You're strong.
You're still strong. You're still stronger than, you might be as strong as you used to, but you're still stronger than everybody else. Right.
In this season, you're someone else. Yeah.
Next thing, everything you have to accept. And this one, I'm going to talk to the people specifically. This is nutrition, and this one you should really get behind. Everything you eat, everything you drink, everything you do has a positive and a negative effect on your body.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
For example, eating fruit. Fruit has a lot of sugar in it. Is it natural sugar? Is it complex sugar?
Yes.
Yep. Walking up the stairs has negative effects on your knees.
Sure.
Also has
positive
effects on your muscles, on your quads, right? Running is awful.
All
and
negative.
I hate it. All negative. Seriously. Running has health benefits. It's got cardiovascular benefit. It's got negative benefits, again, on your knees, on your hips, on your spine, things like that. Where are you? What season are you in? And are you able to handle it? If you start running, first of all, everybody else start running because something's coming, right? But if you started running right now, it would have a lot less negative effects on your body than someone who is 40, 50 pounds overweight and never really ran before in their life. So again, don't say running is bad for you. Deadlifting is another one. We talked about that earlier.
That's only a bulky.
Right. That's going to make you big and bulky. No,
yeah.
It's going to make you be able to pick up things off the floor as you get older. It's going to, we go back to the example. There's all these videos out there on social media, and again, they're funny. They're not good or bad, but it'll say, I do this, and you see someone doing a deadlift, so I can do this, and then they bend down and picking up a laundry basket.
Right.
Same motion, same movement pattern.
Well, and again, we call that functional. We're trying to do movements that perform functionally throughout the day. So it's always, I get, I agree with you.
Nutrition is another one. People say, oh, red meat is high in whatever. It's high in saturated fat. It's high in this and higher in
Mm-hmm.
that. One of the, from a food standpoint, has the highest concentration of creatine in it.
Mm-hmm.
Usually packed with protein, has a lot of iron in it, has a
Right.
lot of other health benefits. Yes, there's this negative part of it,
But the negative only falls negative for someone that might have high cholesterol, or
right.
So everything has what we're going to say is
Eggs.
a yin and a yang.
Right.
Everything has a positive and a yin and a yang. So like looking at everything, like people have come to you, I'm eating a banana for breakfast. It's healthy.
Right.
I'm eating a banana with granola. It's healthy. No, that's not the best pick for you because you're trying to lose weight. You're trying to do this. Mm-hmm. But if it was someone after a workout, that's great carbs. Like, right. Again, it has its place. Everything has its yin and its yang. So
it's yin and yang. And going back to that example, I ate a banana and some granola. Okay, cool. Where'd you get your protein from?
Right.
Okay. So the banana, don't focus on, oh, you shouldn't eat bananas. You should eat eggs. No, you should eat eggs and bananas.
Right. And how big's your banana?
Right. I digress. But that's the thing, and that's one of the things you and I have talked about this before, about Cheerios and how that was such a big Cheerios lower your cholesterol. Yeah, because when you replace eating 3 or 4 eggs at a clip with sausage and bacon
and
with Cheerios, yes, your cholesterol is going to go down. But
it's not the Cheerios
doing it. It's the fact that you
eliminated the saturated fat.
If you had try this, eating a bowl of Cheerios or oatmeal or some other healthy carbohydrate. I can see you biting your tongue right there. But if you did something like that with 2 or 3 eggs and cut out the bacon, that doesn't mean the eggs were the culprit.
Right.
Okay. More so in that particular analogy, I would say the bacon is probably the worst thing.
Well, and again, in one of my other little tipsies or whatever, as fitness professionals, we always talk about, I don't like people saying I'm going to snack, because a snack means you're only bringing in one of the macronutrients. You're just going to grab a carb. We always say team that up with protein, team that up, team it up, make it a meal. Let's talk meals, not snacks. And
again, that I'm going to go into that's the word choice. And I would say is people say, oh, I have a protein shake in the middle of the day as a snack.
Yeah.
Have a piece of fruit with it. Okay.
Or what you're putting into it, like, are you blending in some blueberries and maybe some peanut butter?
I'm talking just like a scoop in water.
Oh, ooh.
Yeah.
Who would do that?
I would.
Oh.
I probably do too.
I always try to make my meals, so I'm always trying. Again, that's me. Where my mindset
I do too,
is.
But I don't make the meal drinkable.
Oh, I do.
No, and I'll tell you the reason I don't do that. And again, this is one of those. This is one of those, again, hard truth. Neither one of us are right or wrong for the way we're thinking. We're actually really thinking the same way, just sort of in different.
I'm thinking taste.
I'm thinking this is if I put the right amount of water, I can still get it like a chocolate protein. Still get to decent consistency.
Okay.
And then I'm going to eat a banana. If I'm bulking right now, so sometimes a peanut butter sandwich on a healthier bread.
Okay.
Where I'm getting protein, I'm getting carbs, I'm getting a little bit of healthy fat in with all of that. And because it is solid food, it is more satiating and slower to digest. Your thing is the same idea. You're just doing it in a smoothie,
right?
Or
because I'm on the go.
Because you're on the go. Same thing.
Yeah.
Again, that's the next hard truth I want to talk about, is how a lot of the advice is good that is out there. I'm going to say about 75 to 80% of the advice that is out there is good advice if you apply it to the right, as you say, season. But
there's a lot of misleading information.
There's a lot, and we're going to get into that next week.
I mean, unfortunately, advertising and like, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. Again, you have to see it. That can't be for everybody.
No.
It can't be that, you and I are working out the exact same way. We don't have the same goal.
No.
So again, that's me pumping personal training. But as a personal trainer, you're looking at that specific person, their needs, their wants, and what they're capable of. And that's one big thing I don't think people understand, is that a personal trainer has to get into the level of what the person is capable of, not just moving weight, mentally. And the more you give your trainer, I'm just coaching you guys now. The more you give your trainer information of where you failed in the past, what you're really, you help him help you so much. So again, I have a questionnaire that I have people fill out when I do their orientations. And they'll skip it. And I said, why'd you skip this? Well, I don't have an answer for it. You need to find an answer for this because I need to know mentally where you are.
So quick plug, since we're plugging personal training at the moment, I am just launching a new program.
Ooh.
That is just that, is the give me more information to help you so we know. First of all, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say, well, I know where most of my clients have failed before in the past. And it's not coming into the gym, what they do outside of the gym.
Yes.
And now we're working on a program that's actually going to help people do that.
Good.
And so, because that, I think, is the next sort of evolution of the trainers. How can you help them stay focused on this goal? Which brings me to my last hard truth. And this is one that I think all of us know, but we have a really hard time accepting. And this goes for all of us trainers. This goes for all of us fitness professionals and all of us as human beings. And that is, eventually our body is going to wear out. Our body, we always talk about what an amazing creation our body is. Our body is like the ultimate adaptable machine. Well, guess what happens to machines? They eventually wear out, right?
They do.
No matter, again, this goes back to what I said about everything having positive and negative effects on your body. As we get older, things start to slow down. Hormones change.
Yeah. We're not the 20-year-old anymore.
We're not 20. We are not 20. And we are not 20. We're not even 30. We're not even 40 anymore.
Easy. Slow that roll.
Okay. Well, we're getting there. Just remember, we're closer to a 5 than we are a 4 at this point.
I know.
But that's my point, is we have, and again, we're saying it as a joke, but in our heads, we're going, we can't be almost 50. Like, we can't. But that's the hard thing, and it's like we looked at, and I say this, we talked about the magic bullet a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Carol and I talked about it, and one of the things you had said is like beginners look for the magic bullet, and I'm going to say this: your more advanced beginners look for it, and there's this small stage of late intermediate, advanced intermediate to beginner advanced that also look for a magic bullet. Now, it's more realistic about the magic bullet that we look for. Okay, we're looking for a small change that's going to maybe add a small change, but a small sustainable change.
Right.
But we're still looking for it.
Yeah.
We're still looking for that
I'm
thing.
still looking for my bullet.
Right. We're still looking for that thing that's going to make us live forever.
Yeah.
Ricky Bobby said it the best in Talladega Nights. He said, I know I'm not going to live forever, but between advances in modern medicine and my high level of income, I have no reason I can't live to be 150, 200.
Okay? I love it.
First of all, let me remind you this. Remember Eric, who we had on the show and you've met Eric from Life Med. He talked about the marginal decade. He talked about the last 10 years of your life. Okay? How do you want to spend those last 10 years of your life?
I don't want to be sick.
I don't want to be sick. I don't want to have someone. I always say this: being able to go to the bathroom by myself and when I want to, that is the ultimate sign to me of I'm on my way out. When I can't do that, okay.
Yeah.
But I want to be able to do that for as long as I can. But you still have to remember, and this is where the balance comes in. This is where I have a really hard time when people say, "Oh, you should avoid this at all costs. You should never drink a soda. You should never drink a beer or whatever the never is."
Yeah.
Why do I want to be? We always one of the things I was told right as I was transitioning out of the car business into this is that when you are on your deathbed, when you were there at the end, no one ever says, "I wish I'd spent more time at work." Right? Well, guess what else?
I don't know. My job's pretty nice.
I mean, mine is too. But no one ever said, "I wish I spent more time in the gym."
Yeah.
Right? So the hard truth here is, when you are looking for something to sustain your life, to sustain your balance, are you trying to sustain your balance, or are you trying to cheat the system? Because you've got to remember, there's one person in sports that's undefeated, and that is Father Time.
Father Time.
So I feel like way too often we forget that fact.
Yeah. I mean, my job currently in my life is longevity.
Right.
Longevity. So
longevity and quality.
Quality. Yeah. Yeah. And I am. I'm cutting out more processed foods. I am eliminating several things. I do specific workouts because again, I add mobility into everything because I want my joints to work like forever.
That is something I've started doing recently
Yeah.
because I started to feel
I do a
like,
dead hang daily.
yep.
Like, I mean, it's just like just all the things. Like you just sit there and you know, sometimes people are like, well, how many things can you do? You know, again, I don't work out 7 days a week. You know, that is a myth that you have to work out every single day. You know, you need relaxed days, you need down days. You know, there's days where I am not in here and I don't work out. I get my walk in though. I do get my steps in. I make sure to go for a walk. I make sure I'm moving. I do some mobility stuff. So again, I'm not acting, and I didn't lift, I did not work out heavily young. I wasn't the sports kid or anything like that. I met a good looking guy and he worked out, and gee, look at me, I have a gym. You know, so it wasn't like I'm not coming from that era of I was the sports kid on the field and you know, I just honestly I do want to look good. I want to feel good. I want to live forever.
You want to live forever? Yeah, right.
But, you know, so I do. I am more health conscious in my latter years than I was in my earlier years. I want it to be quality at the end because we work hard to hopefully save and have to have a good end. I'm seeing people, they're retiring and there is no quality of life there. And I'm just like, whoa.
Right. Yeah, and that's the person that I don't want to be in this.
Yeah, I don't want to be that.
I don't want to be that. But I also have, like you said, I've started incorporating mobility. I've started backing off on the number of heavy days that I do.
Yeah. You read your body. Again, I'm not 20. I can't do what I did when I was, you know, we did something and you had to pull yourself up and do different things. It was something with the kids. And you know what? I just wasn't feeling it that day. Could I have pushed myself to do stuff? And I could have hurt myself.
Right.
And I wasn't going to. I did a mammoth walk. It was 20 miles. I cut out at the 13-mile marker. My ego was not going to beat me. I was not going to hurt myself and not be able to lift because that's what I like to do.
Right.
Just because I had to finish 20 miles.
Right.
Because oh my God, people are going to judge me. Oh my God, you're a fit. I mean, trust me, at that 13-mile, people are like, you're getting on the bus to go? What?
Right.
Like, you're the fitness person. No, my knee's bothering me. My ankle hurts and I'm out.
The idea is to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
The idea is also to enjoy your life. So when next time you think that you shouldn't do something or have something or eat something or drink something because it is bad for you, ask yourself, 20 years from now, when I am standing in front of the pearly gates or whatever it is that you believe in, am I going to wish that I had spent more time in the gym? Or am I going to wish that I drank that beer or ate that cheeseburger or ate that piece of pizza?
Yeah.
There's a balance.
There's a balance.
There's definitely balance.
Just make sure your balance is balanced.
Make sure you're balanced. We always talk about not being balanced so much into the quote unquote bad. We don't want to be so balanced into the good. We don't, you know, the thing in business is to say don't spend so much time trying to make a living that you forget to make a life.
Yeah.
In fitness, it's don't spend so much trying to live forever that you forget to live for now.
Yeah.
So that's all we have for this week. Hopefully, we can take a look at these hard shoes, find some ways to make them fit into your mindset, but also accept the fact that you're going to have to make some changes along the way. I want to thank Cameron for filling in with this week, and also extend the invitation if you want to come back next week. If Carol is not ready to come back, which she may not be. Next week we are going to talk about something that is driving me nuts lately. And that is the rash of social media and mainstream fitness advice that is so hyperbolic. We'll use a big word. You can use that one in Scrabble if you can. But is so out there and so in your face and so obnoxious that it borders itself into being false. Okay. I'm going to post some links throughout the week on our page of some of the things I'm going to talk about, and then we'll talk about them individually, but also as a sort of all-encompassing next week. Until then, check out Cameron, Model A Fitness on Facebook and Instagram. Is the new website up yet?
No, not yet.
Okay. ModelAFitness.com coming soon. Carol, Love Yourself Health Coaching on Facebook and Instagram. Check me out, Rockstar Fitness on Facebook, DWebster023 on Instagram. Follow the show on Facebook and Instagram. And until next week, woo!